right, welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon Reviews. Let's see, 3 reviews, 1 impression up this week. And we start with the impressions, as we've got Paw Paw Destiny up before us. Oh boy. This is one of those descriptions where the English is secondary language at best. So, should not have been born. That's kind of what we're dealing with here. Now, a secret story that your buddy before meet you, cosmic horror.
Well then,
Experience of this artistic game is like a deep taste of aged wine / good cocktail / craft beer. Those are 3 different things that taste very differently.
I mean, the idea is that they're like high class and refreshing, I think. But yeah, congratulations. You've written a summary of the game that tells you literally nothing about what the game is actually like or about.
Yes, and I'm like, was the copywriter here just very thirsty before banging this out? Like going to a party or something? Like very, very interested in getting drunk. Is what I'm getting here. I'm like, so with that being pretty useless, my capsule summation of what Paw Paw Destiny actually is a side-scrolling platformer where you star as a dead animal. At least I think that it's like, wasn't exactly sure if I think you are you're either like dead or like an angel kind of deity animal. I know this is this is one of the issues with being by its own admission an art game. You're not always exactly sure what's going on, and that is very much the case here. It's not helped that the entire translation is like that thing I read in the intro. Very Google Translate. I know.
Yeah, definitely machine translated, although it doesn't seem like it would have been amazingly coherent even in the original language.
Possibly, but I can only speak to the language I know. But I'm going to go out and limb here and say that the other languages represented here that aren't native probably similarly jumbled. Anyway, so the simple boiling point is you are a mystical fur baby of some limited choice, as you get to pick through 3 dog or 3 cat types, and I will say right now that this is probably not going to be enough customization. I certainly had an issue because, my previous pet was a black cat, and there's no option to pick that in the options currently. Not sure if such things are going to be planned, but I guarantee you this is going to be a complaint that's going to keep coming up, because people are going to want to represent their pets with this, especially if they are no longer on the prime material plane, let's say. But that is mainly an aesthetical issue, as they are literally just reskins and your animal of choice will control the same, no matter what exactly you pick. And for what it's worth, you can adjust said skin at any point in time. So, yay for that, I guess. Like, and anyway, so um, in terms of the gameplay, it's pretty simple. What you got to do is you've got it plays out a lot more artistically, but it's basically you select a level, you go in, you um, complete the objective of winning over the hearts of some humans. You get an ability, and then you complete the level. Um, I know that's putting it about as boringly as possible, but it's because this game is the gameplay is filtered through several layers of almost inscrutability. Like if you're looking at the trailer here, um, you might be trying to figure out what's going on exactly. Like just what is it's one of those games where what am I looking at any given moment? You know, um, and that's mainly because it's being framed through like a cosmic lens. So it's not going. It's not a one-to-one representation of reality. Um, that being said, um, this game is in early access, and it very much comes across as an early access game, not so much in how it looks, because it looks fairly feature complete and like ready to go and all that kind of thing. The thing is, what this game is really needing, and I think according to the early access notes here, it's getting polish, like a lot of polish. Um, if I'm able to parse things here, which is a bit difficult to do because the the notes here are as machine translated as the rest. Because here, this sentence here, the development has complete at end of 2022. Since then, debugging and update until now. The game condition is quite good, although there are still few tiny glitches and improvements left to be made. So, if I'm reading that right, it's like the base game, all the content is there, and now it's more about debugging. And I will contradict that last statement. There are more than a few tiny glitches here. Like, okay, first of all, once again, by the note's own admission, the controller support for this game is best described as partial at best. Like, it's not listed on the Steam page, but the controller support doesn't feel good at all. And going to the notes here, it admits that it is partial, and is the developer isn't sure if full controller support is even going to be integrated. So you might want to keep that in mind if you're looking to delve in. But yeah, in terms of like debugging and minor glitches, Uh, I would say that it's a bit more major than that because um, this game has a big problem with hit detection. Like, specifically when like jumping on, I suppose, enemies, like, or antagonistic forces, like I'm not exactly sure like what this is going for here because these sentences, by God, you know, karma delivery return to hell. There's no childish battles of group lynchings of imaginary monsters. The enemy in this game is the ego, ignorance, and weakness of the human. These become cruel violence attacking player. Yeah.
Oh my. Are they okay?
This is what happens when you. This is machine translation at its
Yeah.
finest, people. This is why AI isn't taking over the world of creativity.
Yeah.
If you could expose their hidden sins, it will be displayed as sin ID above their head entirely, which is basically their health gauge. You know, when you like jump on their head, and then you use your heart power to charm them, which sometimes works out. Sometimes you turn them into a pile of exploding shit. No, I'm not joking about that.
Fun.
And I don't know. I don't know why that happens. Like I said, this game is fairly inscrutable, not just because it's very abstract and artsy, but you know, this machine translation is everywhere.
Mm.
So, like, this theoretically makes sense, but you know, syntax and orthography are things.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, the game feels quite slipshod at this point because, like I said, there are times when you'll jump on an opponent's head and nothing will register. Uh, Like, like, and sometimes it will. Like, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. Um, all games kind of like that. You know, sometimes things work sometimes without a whole lot of consistency.
Mm.
Which is why I'm glad that this is an impression video rather than a review. Because, like I said, yeah, the game looks nice. It looks fancy and artsy, and you know the mystical animals are sufficiently petable. You know, it's got
Mm-hmm.
that going for it, but the game just isn't very fun to play right now. Which is where the polish is hopefully coming in. Because, yeah, this game says it's needing a year of polish. I believe it. No. So that is my overall summation of impressions at this point in time. Um, you know, it shows a lot of promise, but I'm hoping that some of that early access dev time is not only towards bug fixing and polishing and making things play actually good, but also hiring actual translators or something. Because,
Mm-hmm.
dear God, what you got here in terms of an actual translation, at least for your English, is virtually inscrutable.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Like it's giving me a headache reading this stuff out right now.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Anyway, so in terms of pricing, yeah. So this game is a bit steep. Um, in that its early access price is clocking in at $14.99. I'm assuming that's a reflection of the fact, or at least the statement, that this game is feature complete. Like it is, as rough as it is right now, a ostensibly full game.
Mm.
At least that's what I was able to parse. Once again, this translation is so jumbled that that's a thing that might have gotten literally lost in translation. So, it is worth noting that there is a demo on the Steam page, which Petty could not get to work.
Yeah.
But once again, we're in early access, so that could be a subset of that as well.
Indeed.
It's why the early access thing is a bit on the frustrating side. Because it's literally a work in progress. But and that is why I give impressions. We give impressions and not reviews, because what is at the end of the line is not necessarily reflected, in 1.0 release.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes the end of the line is Oblivion, and the game doesn't actually see a finished product.
Right. It's also, I'm also aware that games can change post-release. But if you're, our policy is if you're calling your game 1.0, you have put out you've put out an actual released game.
That's literally what 1.0 means.
Mm-hmm. I'm aware of the modern era, but I'm also aware what terms mean. So, yeah, this game needs some work, but it's got a lot of potential. Hopefully, the problems I mentioned here get ironed out properly. I have my concerns about that because, once again, going back to the early access notes, this is a solo dev project. And the problem with solo dev things is you're really not liable to catch some things that you do when you have other people test your software. Though I'm guessing that this is what early access is for.
Mm-hmm.
The feedback gathered here will help you make a better game. So hopefully this impressions video makes it to the developer. There's a lot of the time there's no actual guarantee that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But if it
when
does,
it does, we did something wrong and we get yelled at.
yes. I'm or they will have a lengthy set of questions that I might end up ignoring.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's happened too.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is where things lie. So I'd say it's at the very least worth checking out the demo for this to see if this game is polished enough for your tastes. And I would also recommend a keyboard right now, given how extra rough the controller feels right now. I suppose one final note, the developer might increase the price when this game gets to full release, but is not sure. So, or it will, the price may increase at or closer to the official release. So this may cost, like $20, $25 down the line. But we cannot gauge that at that point. We can only gauge it at this point. Anyway, so yeah, that's about it on Paw Paw Destiny here. Be sure to tune in after the break, as Petty Fan will be reviewing TTV 3.